Hey guys, welcome to Homework Help for Year 6, Term 1, Week 6. On page 5, we're dealing with distance, speed and time, so we'll use the triangle. Now we're given two units. In this case, the first row we have the distance and time given to us, and we're asked to find the speed. So to find the speed, we use a triangle and we cover up the S for the speed. We'll cover up that one, and then we can see that it's going to be d over t, right? So d over t, it's like a fraction, and fraction is just a division. So we just put d, which is a distance, which is 1.25 kilometers, over t is 50 minutes, and they want it in meters per minute. So let's change the top one to meters, and we get 1,250 meters over 50 minutes. All right, so now the units is in meters and minutes, which is what we want. So now we can start simplifying. So we can cross out the zeros from the top, one from the top, one from the bottom, and you have 125 over 5. Now this is an improper fraction, so let's change it to mixed numeral. How many 5s in 125? Just do 125 divided by 5, and you'll see that it's exactly 25, no remainders. So therefore, the answer is going to be 25 meters per minute. That's done. Now question 2. You're asked to find the distance. Let me just rub this out. Alright, number 2, you're given the speed and the time. Excuse me. And you're asked to find the distance. So, if you want to find the distance, we cover up the d for the distance. And you can see that it's going to be speed times time. Now, the speed is in kilometers an hour and time is in hours, but it's got hours and minutes. So we have to convert that to just hours only, because we want to multiply, and it has to be in hours, because this one says kilometers an hour and this should be in hours as well. It has to be the same. Okay, so 3 hours and 40 minutes. That's just 3 hours. And 40 minutes is 40 over 60, because there's 60 minutes in an hour. We're comparing 40 minutes compared to an hour, so we put it over 60, and you can see across the zeros you're going to get 4 over 6, which simplifies it 2 over 3. So that'll be 3 2/3 out of an hour. Alright, so we'll cross that out and put 3 2/3. Now that's in hours, we can multiply that with that, because we're using this triangle here, so speed times time. So you're going to do 3 times it by 3 2/3. Now this one, let's change it into a fraction, so there'll be 3 over 1. And 3 2/3 can be changed into an improper fraction. That's going to be 9 and 11 over 3. Okay, since we're multiplying, we can simplify the top and bottom. And you can see that this can be divided by 3 to get 1. This can be divided by 3 to get 1. So what you're going to have is 11 over 1, which is just 11. So the answer is 11 kilometers. Alright, next one. You're asked to find the time. You're given the distance and the speed. So to find the time, we're going to cover up the t. Cover up the t for the time, and we got distance over speed. Distance over speed. Okay. Now, the distance is 500 kilometers, and the speed is 1,500 kilometers an hour. Since they're both in the same units, like kilometers and kilometers, we can just do the simple division here. Let's see. So we got 500 over 1,500. So let's cross out the zeros. 2 from the top, 2 from the bottom. You got 5 over 15. Which simplifies to 3 over 5. We divide top and bottom by 5. Oh, sorry, not 3 over 5. What am I doing? 1 over 5. So you divide it by 5, you get 1 and... oh my god, my math is out the window today. Okay, divided by 5, you get 1 over 3. Okay. So that's 1/3 of what? What are we dealing with? We're dealing with hours, so that's 1/3 of an hour. 1/3 of an hour is, you take 60 minutes divided by 3, you get 20 minutes. So therefore it should be 20 minutes. Done. Next one, Bill has a part-time job. On Tuesday he works this many hours and minutes, on Wednesday and on Thursday and so on. Altogether, how long did he work? Okay, we're going to add them up all together. So 2 hours and 50 minutes, 3 hours and 40 minutes. You got, what else? 2 hours and 40 minutes. To add them all together. How many hours do we have altogether? We got 7 hours. Now here, this one we got how much? 80 plus 50 is 130 minutes. Now 130 minutes is 60 plus 60 plus 10. And that means it's 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's 2 hours there. So every 60 minutes is 1 hour, so 2 hours and 10 minutes. So altogether you got 2 hours and 10 minutes plus another 7 hours, which makes the 9 hours and 10 minutes. That's the answer there. Alright, next one. My bus was due at 9:47 a.m. but was 4:15 of an hour late. At what time did the bus arrive? So you need to find out how many minutes this is. This is not even an hour yet. This is only part of an hour. So we're going to take an hour, which is 60. We're going to divide it by 15 pieces, and we're going to take 4 of them. So to do that, we're going to do or another way you can think of it is 4:15 of means time, an hour, which is 60 over 1. Alright, so you're going to simplify that. You're going to get, we're going to divide top and bottom by 50, maybe just 5. If you're not sure, we can divide by 15. Just divide by 5, you get 3. Divide by 5, you get 12. Now you can divide it by 3 again. So this will be 1 and this will be 4. Alright, so you got 4 times 4, that gives us 16. 1 times 1, which is 1. Now 16 over 1 is a whole number, so that just means 16. And this will be in minutes. Why is it in minutes? Because this is already in minutes. This 60 is the minutes. So that means that the bus is 16 minutes late. And if you have 9:47, you're going to add 15 minutes. You get the answer there. Okay. How many days from 3rd of May to the 15th of September? Okay, so let's see. We have May, June, July, August, September. 1, 2, January, February, March, April, May. May is 31. Then this will be 30, 31, 31, and then 30. So May has 31 days. Now you're starting from the 3rd of May. So you're not including the 1st and 2nd. So that means we're going to take 31, subtract 3. And you're going to get, what, 28. So from the 3rd of May to July, you got 28 days. So that'll be, instead of 31, we just got 28 days from there to there. And then from there to there, it's got another 30 days. And then 31. And then now plus another 31. And then September, we're only going to the 15th of September. So 15. So we add all these days together. So 28 plus 30 plus 31 plus 31 plus 15. Let's see what that gives us. Actually, I'll let you do this one yourself. Now you figure out whatever the number is here. You figure it out, okay? Now, one more thing you have to do after you add all these numbers up, you have to add 1. Because when you're asked the question to see how many days from here to here, you have to include also the 3rd of May, the very beginning. What I mean by that is this. When you have, let's say you have the number 3 to 7. Okay, how many, let's say from May the 3rd to May the 7th, how many days is that? You might be tempted to think that, oh, it's just 7 take away 3, which means 4 days. Well, let's have a look. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many days we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 days. And the reason we got 5 days is because we included the 3. It's not just the jumps, like 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 days. It's not just like that. But you have to include the 3 as well. That makes it 5 days. So that's why you have to add the 1, because this is an inclusive answer. You have to include the 3rd of May as well. So in this case, we're including the 3rd of May. Okay, and we're going all the way to 15th of September. And when you go to 15, you're going to add all these numbers up, get the answer here. Then you have to add that 1 to make the answer inclusive. So I'll leave that to you to work it out. Which of these years is a leap year? Well, there's 3 years listed here. Okay, for a year to be a leap year, it has to be divisible by 4. So see which one of these is divisible by 4. Alright, question 8. Actually, yeah, so see which one of these divisible by 4 without remainders. Okay, so no remainders. Now, question 8. How fast in meters per minute is a car traveling if it travels 29.7 kilometers in 4.5 hours? Okay, so you go 29.7 kilometers in 4.5 hours. Now we want to get from that to meters per minute. So from 4.5 hours going all the way to minutes is a bit tricky. You can still do it, just a bit tricky. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from that to 1 hour first. And then from 1 hour, we can go to minutes by dividing by 60. So 4.5 to get to 1, we have to divide by 4.5. Alright, so whatever we do to this side, we have to do the same thing here to this side. Now, we want meters in the end, right? But this is in kilometers. So let's change it to meters from the very beginning. So this would be 29,700 meters. Now you're going to divide that... Oops, sorry, that's not that shouldn't be there. So I'm just gonna cross this out and change this one to meters straight away. So it's 29,700 meters, and we're gonna divide it by 4.5, and we're gonna get this number here. And then we're gonna divide it by 60 because on this side we divide it by 60. Okay, we have to match it. So just do. Whoa, that's okay. Alright, I'll show you how to do this with fractions, okay? So what we got to do is this. Let me just rub this part out. And I'll clear this up a little bit. 29,700 meters. Okay, so once you divide, because it's in meters, once you divide your final answer, it will also be in meters. So that's just easier. Okay. So don't worry about the rest. Let's just work on this part here. You're going to take 29,700 and you're dividing it by 4.5. So do it as a fraction. This will be over 1. This will be 4.5. Now you can't divide like this. So you got to change this one to improper. So now that becomes 9 on 2. Because we're dividing by 9 on 2, we're gonna switch this around and say that's 29,700 over 1 times it by 2 over 9. Alright. Now what do we got here? Can we simplify these two? That's the question. Yes, we can. So if you divide this by 9, the bottom divided by 9, whoops. So this is divided by 9, you get 1. Now divide this top part by 9. 29700 divided by 9. Now how do I know this is divisible by 9? Because if you remember the divisibility rule, if you add all the digits up and it's a multiple of 9, then it's divisible by 9. So if you add 2 plus 9 plus 7, okay, so this will be 11 plus 7 is 18. 18 is a multiple of 9, therefore this number is divisible by 9. That's just the divisibility rule. Alright, so divide this by 9 and you can see that it's going to be 3 here. 3 times 9 is 27. Take away, you're going to get remainder of 2. Bring down the 7. Divided by 9 again, it's going to be 3 again. But you got then, so that'll be 27. And now we're going to bring these zeros back up here, and that's the answer there. There's 2 zeros. So this can be crossed out. Whoops, wait, wrong one. Let me just clear this out here. This can be crossed out, and we said the answer was 3300. So now we just multiply that by 2. So 2 times 3300, you're going to get 0066. And that's going to equal to 6600 over 1, which is just 6600. So that's in meters, right? Because they want it in meters. So that'll be 6600 meters in what? 1 minute. Oh wait, we haven't divided by 60 yet. Whoops, I forgot. So that's just 6600 meters. Okay, we only just divided by 4.5. We only done this part only. Now we got to do this part. We divide by 60 as well. So take 6600 divided by 6, and you're gonna get 1. That's a 6. So that's 0. Bring the 6 down. Get a 1. That's another 6, and then 0, 0. So you're gonna get the answer as 1100 meters. Oh, hold on, 60. Let me do that again. Hold on, I made a mistake. So we got 6600 and we divided by 60. We're dividing it by 60 like this. So what we can do is cross out the 0 from there and there, and that's just 660 divided by 6, which is 110, and the answer is 110 meters per minute, and we're done. Once you divide by 60, you're done, and you get the answer in meters per minute. All right, next page. How long in minutes will it take to ride 6 kilometers on a motorbike if it travels 12 meters per second? Okay, so what it means is that 1 second, you're going to travel 12 meters. In 2 seconds, you're going to travel 24 meters. In 3 seconds, you're going to travel 36 meters, and so on. You can see the pattern, right? So to get to these numbers, all you got to do is just multiply 12 by whatever seconds you got. So in this case it's 2, so this one will be 12. In this case it's 3, times it by 3 seconds, and you get 36, and so on. So now let's have a look at here. It says how long. So how long, I'm just going to put a question mark here, is it going to take to get to 6 kilometers? Alright, you can see all of this is in meters and this is in kilometers. So let's change this one to meters as well so we can compare them easy. So 6 kilometers is 6,000 meters. So how do we get from here all the way to here? Well, you can see the pattern, right? You can see the pattern here. So if I do 6,000, it's going to be 12 times something. 6,000. So 12 times some number, 12 seconds. Or you can think of it this way. Another way to think about it is this way here. Okay, how do I go from 12 seconds to 6,000 seconds? 12 meters to 6,000 meters. And then whatever you do there, you're going to do the same thing here. Alright, so what we're going to do is going to figure out, it says 12 times some number equals to 6,000. So to find the number, what do we do? Well, imagine if you had 2 times 3 equals to 6, right? We know the answer is going to be 3, but how are you going to get 3 using these two numbers here, 6 and 2? Well, you say 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So same thing here. You're going to take 6,000 divided by 12. So 6,000 divided by 12. So let's see, we can put it into a fraction as this is a division. And let's see, can we do 6 divided by 12? That'll give us a whole number? No. Can we do 60 divided by 12 give us a whole number? Yes, that'll be a 5. So this will be nothing, this will be a 5, and the answer is 500. Okay, so that means, what that means is this. When you do 6,000 divided by 12, you're going to get 500. So what 500 is that you're going to multiply this by 500. 12 times 500 is a 6,000, which means I must multiply this one by 500 as well. So 1 second multiplied by 500, that's just 500 seconds. Alright, now it says how long in minutes. So we're going to change this one to minutes. I'm sure you can do that yourself, so I'll leave it to you. 500. So 500 seconds. Just change it. Just change it to minutes, and the answer will be, and that's it. Question 10. There was lightning followed by thunder 1/12 of a minute later. Now let's just figure what this out first. 1/12 of a minute. So 1 minute has 60 seconds. 1/12 of it, so you divide it by 12 and you're going to get 5. That means this is 5 seconds. Alright, so that's just another way of saying 5 seconds. If the sound travels at the speed of 343 meters per second, how far away in kilometers was the thunder? So what's happening is this here. I'll show you. So there's a cloud, there's a lightning. So when the lightning hits the ground, right, two things happen. The light flash from the lightning is gonna travel out. This is light. And then something else radiates out from the strike is sound. Now, because light travels very fast, it's the fastest thing in the universe at the moment that we can see, is that light travels the fastest and then sound travels slower. So you're standing over here somewhere, you're a certain distance away, okay? You will see the light first. And then the sound will come after that. Now it says the lightning, so the moment it hits, right, you will see the light, and then the sound is 5 seconds later than that. So that means the sound is that means that the time it took for the sound to travel from here to you was 5 seconds. The light that you see is almost instantaneous. It's like instant. The moment you see the lightning hits, it's like you see the light straight away. So the sound is a little bit slower, so that means that the time it took for the sound to travel from the distance of impact to your ears is 5 seconds. So the time is 5 seconds. Now, we're given time. We're given also the speed of sound. If the sound traveled at the speed of 343 meters per second. So speed equals to 343 meters per second. It says how far away, so that means you're asked to find the distance. Remember the triangle? We have this triangle here that says distance over speed times time. If you're asked to find the distance, you must cover up the d for the distance, and you can see that it's going to be speed times time. So you just multiply these two together with we get the answer. And since they're both in seconds, we don't have to convert anything. Just multiply it straight up and we get the answer. But one more thing, it says how far in kilometers. So once you multiply this, 5 times 343, you're going to get the answer in seconds. Then you're going to change it to kilometers by dividing it by 1,000. And that's it. Alright, next one. Water is dripping from a tap. Let me see. Water is dripping from a tap at 50 milliliters per minute. How long in hours and minutes will it take for 10 liters of water to be lost? Okay, so 1 minute, 50 milliliters is lost. So 2 minutes, that's going to be 100 milliliters and so on. So the question is, how long will it take for 10 liters to be lost? How many minutes? Or in this case, how long in hours and minutes? Okay, so from 50 to 10 liters. Now let's change this one. This is in milliliters, this is in liters. Let's change this one to milliliters as well. So you're going to get 10 liters. 1 liter is 1,000, so 10 liters is 10,000. 10,000 milliliters. Alright, so from 50 to 10,000, what did we times it by? Some number. Whatever. Once we work out that number, we can just multiply it to the minutes and get the answer. Okay, so 50 times some number is equal to 10,000. To find the number, we just have to work backwards. We'd say, okay, well that number is going to equal to 10,000 divided by 50. Now just cross out the zeros. So you got 1,000 divided by 5 is going to give you 200. So that means we multiply 50 by 200 and we'll get 10,000. So that means I must multiply 1 minute by 200 as well. And I'll get 200 minutes. Alright, now they want it in hours and minutes. Can you work that out yourself? Change 200 minutes to hours and minutes. How many hours and minutes is that? I'll let you work on that yourself. So that's 200 minutes. Alright, a typist can type 720 words in 1/4 of an hour. How many words can it type in? Okay, so same thing here. We got 720 words. So these are the words. And this is the time it took. which is 1/4 of an hour. Now 1/4 of an hour, actually let's leave it for now. How many words can be typed in 34.5 minutes? So to go 1/4 of an hour to minutes is pretty hard. So how about we just change out this one to minutes first. We want to compare them, right? So now 1/4 of an hour has 60 minutes. So 1/4 of 60, that just makes it to be 15. So that's another way of saying 15 minutes. All right, to go from 15 to 34.5 is still hard. So how about we just go to 1 first? 1 minute. How do you go from 15 minutes to 1 minute? Well, you divide it by 15. And then to go from 1 minute to 34.5, you just times it by 34.5. Okay, so here I'm going to divide it by 15 as well, and I'm going to times it by 34.5. So 720 divided by 15. How many 15s in 72? That will be 4, because 4 times 15 is 60. Take away, you're going to get 2 and a 1. Now, how many 15s in 120? If 4 makes 60, then 8 should make 120. So the answer is 48. So that means that the person here, a typist, can type 48 words in 1 minute. Now you want to know how much words he or she can type in 34.5 minutes. So you times 48 by 34.5. All right, so 34.5 is just another way of saying 34.5 times 48. Let's change this one to improper fraction. You're going to get 34 times 2 is, let me see, 68, 69 over 2. So there'll be 69 over 2 times it by 48 over 1. We can simplify this. This will be a 1. This will be, what, 24. So that means 69 times 24, and you will get how many words this person can type. Just multiply that together and you're done. All right, next page. Consider the block in the diagrams. The girl stands at the point A and she looks at the blocks. Which of the following would best represent what she sees? Now, if you look at this carefully, you will notice that this is a straight line. And this will be her right, and that will be her left. So that means on her right, it should be a straight line. Like it should be, all the blocks must align themselves. Okay. So that means on her right. So which one is that? That will be B. See, all the right blocks, they're all lined up, straight, nice, and it's not jagged or anything like that. So it's nice and straight. Okay, question. So that one's B. 2. I was meant to divide it by 3. So that means you have a number and you were supposed to divide it by 3 to get some answer. But instead, I took that number, the same number, and I multiplied by 4, and my answer was 48. The correct answer should be what? So this is the correct answer here. What's the correct answer? So first we need to figure out what the initial number was before you multiply by 4. So what times 4 is 48? So just do division. 48 divided by 4, that'll give you 12. So what that means is 12 times 4 is 48, right? So that means that the number you started with was 12. So instead of times it by 4, you get 48, just do divided by 3, and you'll get the answer as 4, which is B. Alright, next one. It says Sir Isaac Newton was born 8 years more than 3.5 centuries ago. Now 1 century is 100 years. 3.5 centuries is equal to 350 years. So 350 years ago, that's when he was born. But it says 8 years more than that. So here we are now. 350 years ago. But then it says from that point 8 more years. So you have to go forward 8 years. So 350 minus 8, and you get 342. So that means that from here to here is only 342, because this is 8. Okay, this means he was born 342 years ago, which is B. Next one, it says I lost 2/3 of my money. I now have, so let's just imagine here's your money. You lost 2/3 of it. So, oops. So you lost this much and you only have 24 left. if you have 24, if 1/3 is 24, that means that all of this is 24. Okay, how much did I lose? So how much did you lose? You lost these blue ones altogether. You lost 24 and 24. How much did you lose? Work it out. At rush hour, 240 people pass through a Tunnsville at a railway station each 5 minutes. Okay, so 240 people for every 5 minutes. There are 8 Tunnsville. How many people would pass through them all in an hour? To go from 5 minutes to an hour. Now 5 minutes is... To go from 5 minutes to an hour, you're going to take... How many 5 minutes are going to take to get to an hour? You're going to times it by 12. So it's going to be 12 lots of 5 minutes. So 240 times it by... you could say 60 over 5. Because that would be 12, right? 60 divided by 5. And then you're going to times it by 8 because there's 8 Tunnsville. So which one of these do you think is the answer there? I could put all of this into one whole fraction and you can see the answer clearly. Next one says, I can buy honey in different size jars. Which of the following will best represent the value? Okay, this one is just comparing. Turn all of these into 1 liter. So 1 liter gets me this much. Now this one is 200 milliliters, so change it to 1 liter. Times it by 5 to get to 1 liter, so times it by 5. See how much you get. This one is half of a liter, is $6, so 1 liter I just times it by 2. So 1 liter should be $12, right? So this one already, you can see this one is better than the A. A is $12.90, so that's no good. This one, 6 liters, to make it 1 liter divided by 6 and divided by 6. So you're going to get 1 liter is equal to, what's 78 divided by 6? Let me see, 1, 3. That'll be $13. So obviously that can't be good. So how about you compare this last two, C and B? It's either one of those. Okay. Next page. Anne is 6 years older than Jan, and Jan is 1 year older than Pierre. If Pierre will be 15 years next year, how old is Anne now? Okay, so Pierre, you got Jan and Anne. Now Pierre will be 15 years next year. That means this year he's only 14 because next year is 15. So right now he must be 14. Now let's see, all of this stuff is now. This is the now. Okay, how old everyone is now. How old is Anne now? So we have to work out this one here. It says Jan is 1 year older than Pierre, so Jan must be 15. And Anne is 6 years older than Jan, so that's 15 plus 6, that's 21. So therefore Jan must be 21. How old was Anne when Pierre was born? So question 8. When Pierre was born, that's 14 years ago. So subtract 14, and if you subtract 14, you get how old Anne was when Pierre was born, and you work it out. Question 9. A school is divided into 4 houses. P, Q, R, S. The students line up so that a student from P is first in line, then a student from Q, so we go Q, then a student from R, then a student from S, then a student from P again. And so on with same order repeating. So it keeps going P, Q, R, S, P, Q, R, S, and so on forever. Now it says, from what house will the 66th student come? From which house will it come from? Okay, so we have to look at this in terms of order. This is the first person, second, third, fourth. This is 5th, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on. Okay, so you can see that it's repeating every 4 person. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 66 and we divide it by 4. You're going to get 16 remainder 2. Okay, remainder 2 means that if you divide evenly, if you take 16 and you divide evenly, you're going to get, when you have a remainder of 0, right, you're going to get the last one, which is S. For example, this is the 4th position. 4th, you divide it by 4, you're going to get 1 remainder 0. the remainder 0. So if it has a remainder 0, it'll be S. And you can see the same thing for the eighth position. 8 divided by 4, you get 2 remainder 0, which is also S. Every time we have a remainder 0, we're going to get S. Every time we have a remainder 1, we're going to get P, the next one after that, so it'll be P. If we have a remainder 2, we're going to get Q. So this one has to, so we have a remainder 2 here, we have to have the answer Q. Yeah, so for example, I'm just going to give you an example, right? Let's look at the 10th position. Let's pretend we didn't know 10 was a Q. Okay, so you take the 10th position, you divide it by 4, because it's repeating in every 4 people, and you're going to get 2 remainder 2. And you can see remainder 2 is going to be Q. Every time we have a remainder 2, it's going to be Q. Sorry, is it Q? Yeah, it should be Q. Okay. Alright, so there it is. Just gonna run this out now. Okay, it says a sector of pie chart has an angle at the center, 135 degrees. What percentage of the whole does this represent? So this is 135. Now what percentage of the whole thing does it represent? So you do 135, you're comparing it to the whole amount, all the angles in the circle. How many angles is there in a circle? That means it's comparing 135 to 360. So now we simplify, we divide it by 5, and you're gonna get 27 here, and divided by 5, you're gonna get 72. So 27 over 72, let's divide it by 9. Let's simplify that further. You're going to get 3 over 8. Now, 3 over 8, 1 over 8 is 12.5%. 2 over 8 is 25%. 3 over 8. Every time we go up by 1 over 8, we're just adding 12.5%. Okay? So this one plus with another 12.5%, you're going to get 37.5%, which is this one here, 37.5. All right. For question 11, there are 2 boxes on a balance. There are an unknown number of marbles in the box marked P and an unknown number in Q, as shown in figure 1. So we don't know how many marbles are there. Is it marble? Yeah, marbles are in here and in here. We don't know. We just know that there's more in P and not as many in Q. When 3 marbles are taken from P, box P, and placed into box Q, the balance tips over and looks like figure 2. So you're going to take 3 from P and transfer those 3 over to Q, and then it tips over. Okay. Then 2 marbles are taken from Q, so 2 from Q, and we put it back into box P. And the balance tips over again, and looks like figure 3. If you found a difference in the original number of marbles, the smallest number you would get is what? Okay, so for question 11, we have to refer to the diagram here. Okay, in the beginning, you're gonna have P, the number of marbles in P is more than the number of marbles in Q. Okay, and then 3 marbles from P went into Q. So that means that in the second diagram, the box in here, this is P minus 3 now, because it lost 3 marbles. And in this box, you have Q plus 3, because it's got 3 more marbles. So we can look at this diagram and form an equation, an expression. Okay, we can say that P minus 3 and Q plus 3. Now P minus 3 is less than Q plus 3, isn't it? You can see this less than, it has to be less than because the balance bin looks like that. Okay, so then what happens? And then you take, from this point, we're going to take 2 marbles from here, so from Q, and give it to P. So we're going to have this situation here. Now Q went up by 3 marbles, but it went down by 2 marbles. So that means that it only went up by 1 marble. So we're going to have, in this box, we're going to have Q plus 1. And in this box, well, P was down by 3 marbles, but you know, it went down by 3 marbles, but it went up by 2 marbles. So that means it's still down by 1 marble, p minus 1. Okay. So from here, we can write another equation. We can say that this is p minus 1 is more than q plus 1. Alright, so these are the two equations that you can get from here, and from this two equations we can do some sort of logical explanation and get the answer. So let's look at the first equation. So you have p minus 3 is less than q plus 3. Okay. So what we're going to do is we want to get to the point of p minus q, and we want to see what that looks like. Could be more than, less than, whatever. Okay, so at the moment it stays like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add 3 to both sides, 3 marbles to both sides, and that's going to give us, so when you have, p is missing 3 marbles, we just added 3 marbles back to it, so it's just back to p now. And now q just got an extra 3 marbles, and then an extra 3 marble again, so q plus 6. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to subtract q from both sides, and you're going to have p minus q is less than 6. Because q minus q is just 6. p minus q is just p minus q. So what does that mean? That means that the difference between p and q is less than 6. So that means it could only be either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can it equal to 0? No, it can't, because p minus q cannot equal to 0, because for it to be equal to 0, that means p equals to q. But we know that p is bigger than q. It can't equal to q, so therefore it can't be 0 either. So these are the possible values of the difference between p and q. Now let's look at the second equation. The second equation is this one here, and we're going to use that as well to work it out. So p minus 1, so p minus 1 is more than q plus 1. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to add 1 to both sides of the equation, and we're going to have p, because p is missing 1, then you add 1, so it just cancels out, and then you just have p is greater than q plus 2. Now we're going to subtract q from both sides, so this is p subtract q, and that's going to be greater than 2. There's your second equation. So what does that mean is that the difference between p and q must be more than 2. So let's look at our original numbers. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It has to be less than 6 but more than 2. So that means we can't include 1 because it'd be more than 2. Can't include 2 because it has to be more than 2. Okay, so it has to only be 3, 4, or 5. So that means our answer, p minus q, can only be either 3, 4, or 5. It can't be less than 3 because that would be 2. And it can't be more than 5, which will be 6. And we know that it can't be, it has to be less than 6 according to this equation and this equation. So we have 3, 4, or 5, so let's go to the next page. Now it says the smallest number that p can be is 3, because we know that the answer is 3, 4, or 5. These are the only possible solutions. The smallest number is only 3. The largest number you can get will be 5, because the largest number is 5. It has to be less than 6, so it has to be 5. Can't be more than 5, and can't be more than 3. Okay, so it can't be 2 and it can't be 1, so that's all crossed out. Okay, so that's that one. Alright, moving on to question 13. Now it says change 120 kilometers an hour into meters per second. Okay, so 120 kilometers for 1 hour. I want to get it down to how many meters is it gonna be for 1 second. So let's first of all change this one to meters straight away. So that'll be 120,000 meters. And how many seconds is in an hour? That's 3,600 seconds. Okay, so I want to go from that to 1 second. So divided by 3,600. Divide that by 3,600. Let's do it as a fraction. So you're going to get 120,000 divided by 3,600. Now we can just simply simplify this. 2 from the top, 2 from the bottom, zeros goes away. Now you got 1,200 over 36. All right, let's look at 12 and 36. Let's simplify this. So what you're going to get is 12 can be divided. We can divide top and bottom by 12. You're going to get 1. And this one divided by 12, I'm going to get 3. So you're going to get 100 over 3. And what would that be? 100 over 3. So that will be 33 meter, 33 and 1/3 of a meter. 33. So you just do 100 divided by 3 like this. How many 3s in 10? That'll be 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Remainder 1. 10 again, so 3. And you can see that it's just, and then we have a remainder 1. So 100 over 3 is 33 and 1/3 meter. So which one is the answer? You can see it's going to be C. Alright, give you that one for free. Question 14. James can jog 2.5 kilometers every 30 minutes. How long would it take him to jog 12.5 kilometers? Okay, so suppose he doesn't get tired. So we got 2.5 kilometers for 30 minutes. Now, I want to travel a distance of 12.5 kilometers. And how many minutes would that be? Well, if you haven't realized already, that from here to here is 5 times. Okay? 2.5. If you add another 2.5, you're going to get 5. Add another 2.5, you get 7.5. Another 2.5, you get 10. Another 2.5 is 12.5. So there's going to be 5 lots of 2.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? To go from there to there. So we just times this one by 5 as well. And you should get the answer. And they want it in hours, so you can work that out yourself. For those who doesn't know that 12.5 is 5 times 2.5, just do division. Just do 12.5 divided by 2.5. Now to do this, all you got to do is just, there's a method to divide decimals like this, or you could put it into a fraction, 12.5 over 2.5. And we have decimals in our fractions, which we don't like. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply top and bottom by 10 just to make it into whole numbers. We're going to get 125 over 25. Now we're going to simplify this fraction by dividing top and bottom by 5. I'm going to divide this by 5, I'm going to get 5. Divide this by 5, I'm going to get 25. So I'm going to get 25 over 5. So how many 5s go into 25? This is improper fraction. Change to mixed numeral and you're going to get the answer is 5 whole. No remainders. So that means that to go from here to here, you must multiply by 5, which means you multiply that by 5 and get the answer. Okay, moving on. Question 15. How many years in 3 centuries? So 1 century is equal to 100 years. Score, whoops. 1 score equals to 20 years. They want 3 centuries, 4 scores, and 9 years. You can work it out yourself, that one. Alright, that's all there is. Hope that helps.